Now, let's move on to question 2 of section A, which is the writer's language and effects question. This question focuses on how the writer uses language to create effects and influence the reader. It is worth 9 marks, so it carries a significant amount of weight in your paper 1 exam. Unlike the comprehension questions, here the examiner is not only checking whether you understand what the writer has said, but also whether you understand how the writer has said it and why those particular words have been chosen. Whenever you come across a writer's language question, remember that the examiner wants you to explain the effect of the writer's word choices. Many students lose marks because they write very general comments such as, "It makes the writing interesting," or, "It is effective." These statements are too vague and do not explain anything. Instead, your answer should clearly explain what the word suggests, what image it creates, what it emphasizes, what it reveals about the situation or character, and how it makes the reader feel. A simple way to answer these questions is to follow an easy formula. First, explain the meaning of the word or phrase in the context of the passage. Then describe the image or association it creates in the reader's mind. Finally, explain the effect that this image has on the reader. If you practice following this sequence every time, your language analysis answers will become much stronger. Sometimes the examiner will ask you about a character's or the writer's feelings. In these questions, simply naming one feeling is usually not enough, especially if the question is worth 2 marks. Start by identifying the feeling using your own words. Instead of using basic words like scared or happy, choose stronger and more precise vocabulary such as anxious, apprehensive, relieved, frustrated, disappointed, or excited. Then support your answer with evidence from the passage by referring to something the character says, does, or experiences. Always connect your chosen feeling to the evidence so that your answer is fully explained. Another type of question you may see is vocabulary in context. Here, you need to work out the meaning of a word based on how it is used in the passage. Do not automatically write the dictionary definition because many words have different meanings depending on the context. Instead, read the sentence before and after the word, understand what is happening, and then choose a simple synonym that fits that particular situation. Always remember that the meaning of a word in context is not necessarily the same as its dictionary meaning. You may also be asked a prediction or suggest question. These questions test whether you can make a logical judgment using the clues already provided in the passage. Your answer should always be based on evidence given by the writer. Think about what the characters are doing, how they are feeling, and what has already happened, then predict what is most likely to happen next. Do not invent completely new events or introduce ideas that have no connection with the passage. For example, if a boy packs his bag, notices dark clouds, and rushes towards the bus stop, it is reasonable to predict that he is trying to catch the bus before it starts raining. However, saying that he will suddenly fly to another country and become a famous singer has no support from the passage and would not receive any marks. There are also several common mistakes that you should avoid throughout section A. One of the biggest mistakes is copying large sections of the passage when the question specifically asks you to answer in your own words. Another common error is answering what happened when the question is actually asking why it happened. Always read the question carefully and pay attention to the line numbers provided, because they tell you exactly where to look for the answer. You should also match the number of points you write to the number of marks available. If the question is worth 2 marks, 1 brief point is usually not enough. Likewise, avoid explaining only part of a phrase while ignoring the rest, and always look beyond the obvious meaning when answering inference questions. Most importantly, never write vague language analysis comments like, "It is effective," without explaining why it is effective. Finally, let's talk about time management. In your examination, you have 2 hours to complete the entire paper, and you should aim to spend about 1 hour on passage 1. Begin by spending around 10 minutes reading the passage carefully. Read it once to understand the overall story, then read it again more slowly, paying attention to important events, emotions, descriptions, and key details. Underline or mentally note anything that seems significant before attempting the questions. After that, spend approximately 45 minutes answering all the questions for passage 1, including comprehension, writer's language, and other reading tasks. Finally, keep the last 5 minutes to review your answers, check for careless mistakes, and make sure you have answered every question completely. Managing your time well will help you avoid rushing through the final questions and give you the best chance of achieving top marks. And that's how you should attempt section A to maximize your chances of scoring the full 25 marks. By applying these techniques to both question 1 and question 2 from passage A, you'll be able to answer confidently, meet the examiner's expectations, and achieve the highest possible marks.